So we are in the midst of the Bitcoin halving. It's fastly approaching soon in April, and as you can see, Bitcoin has already started to do a little retracement from the last point where I says the new moon would come in. So this is all interesting. The market is beginning to retrace, but welcome everybody to Crypto Angles podcast number 55. 5 and 5 equals 10, so we're getting the binary code. We're getting impact in our physical reality, creating some new beginnings. But welcome everybody. My name is Kelita Sahliah. If you are new, I'm a mother, a real angel, and of course I dabble in crypto because this is why you are here. So over here we use astrology of the visible sky to interpret how that could be impacting the crypto market. So if you are new, we usually look at some Gematria connections that's happened on the world stage, but there's none for this cycle. We then look into the astrological story of what's happening for this cycle, and then we'll check out the technical analysis for Bitcoin, XRP, and the DXY. So, yeah, let's kind of get into it. This calendar starts from April, so we're in it, and it finishes in 2025 March. It's amazing to learn if you don't know anything of it, and of course because we use the visible sky over here, we've got extra constellations that the luminaries wander through, so it's just amazing. But we are going from this cycle now from the 14th to the 20th. Now you can grab this calendar if you would like. It is available on Etsy, so do grab it. There is a 10% discount if you would like it. Okay, there's a 10% discount. There's digital and physical copies available. And also something more. Let me show you. It's a spring deal. You can buy one and get one free with the calendar. So if you grab yourself a digital calendar from my Etsy store, you can get the physical calendar for free. You just pay postage and packaging for that, and you can grab it. Hold on. Okay, darling. So yeah. Okay. So yes, sweetheart. So forgive me, my daughter. So you can grab a physical copy for free with postage and packaging, and yeah, just enjoy. It's a spring deal for you. But let's get into the astrological story, what's happening this cycle. So we've had our solar eclipse, where that can bring a shift and transition in energy. So from my perspective, I was looking at it as we may get that retracement coming through that is necessary for continuation in the market. So of course, we are entering into our bull run soon. And in order to do that, we needed that continuation. So this eclipse brought about that reset that was necessary. Now we're moving from this new moon, no moon, eclipse energy into the full moon energy. Now, just a little side note. When it comes to the eclipses, you notice I said new moon, no moon. That's because technically no moon is in the sky. So what is the thing that actually passes through the sun? We don't really see approaching and leaving. It's just there. And the moon is basically nothing but a light. So when there's no light, because there's no moon, it regenerates and the light starts again. But depends on your point of view. But anyway, we're transitioning now. We are on the 14th as you are watching this video. We have our first quarter moon. So this is our transition energy of price finding its local resistance and getting ready to find its new local support as we enter into the full moon. So of course we'll still talk about this full moon energy in our next video. But do bear in mind it's picking up now because it starts. The moon energy is 5 days before, 5 days after. So that brings us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It brings us to the ending of this cycle where price is truly going to begin to get ready to find its support. So do keep that in mind, that this retracement may not be the end. Okay, but other than this transition, as we're getting into that, finding our local support, we also have the sun entering Aries. Now, if you are more familiar with mainstream tropical Western astrology, you would have already assumed it was Aries season, but it's not. And I'm not going to gas you. We are going to check ourselves. I hope the sound is okay. I'm trying to talk louder and all of that jazz, but I hope it's okay. Put this as bright as possible because it's so dark. So this is the Sky Live. I personally use the app Stellarium, but when it comes to just searching online, I use the Sky Live. It shows you exactly where the luminaries, the sun, stars, moon is in that moment. Okay, so it's in alignment with the visible sky. So we've got the sun here, and take a look at the date, 14th of April. This is the time, and we're gonna look here, look at my mouse, constellation where Pisces, right now on the 14th of April. I can hardly see it because the sun's shining, but hopefully the recording's picking it up. We've got the sun right here, and we're in the Pisces star constellation right now. So by the time it gets to the 18th, the sun would have moved over into Aries. See here, we've got ARI. So that's just, I'm just saying, I'm not bullshitting you. I am speaking the absolute truth. According to the sky, where astrology happens above our head, the sun is not in Aries right now, but it will be this cycle. So what is this telling me when it comes to the market? Aries is a fire sign. So because fire and water, it can mix, or it can kind of extravagate, create a lot of passion, but also fire can be a little bit weak. So we've got two elements in there, like a lot of passion, a lot of potential movement, because the market is water, but we're entering into a fire sign. But then because fire is so passionate, we could get just a lot of volatility. But because we are getting our full moon coming in, which is a pink moon in Libra, and the Libra aspect is quite interesting, but because we are entering into that, I'm seeing there may be a little bit of weakness, maybe even more retracement, while price is getting ready to find its true local support. But that passion, that flame could just bring about volatility. But ultimately, because Aries is new, is technically the first zodiac, would you say? Yes, darling? Not right now, sweetheart. It's still very early. A bit later, after lunch, you can have one. Okay? Yeah, but not right now for you, sweetheart. But mommy's recording, okay? And I can't pause this, so everyone's hearing me say this right now. You can have one, but later, alright? But not right now, it's a bit too early. Okay, so what was I saying? Aries, being this, so brightness going down, being this first sign, pretty much the first one after Pisces, because Pisces is the first and the last. It's water, so you end with Pisces, and being water, you begin with Pisces. But ultimately, Aries is this new flame. Being the first fire sign, it's this new passionate childlike flame, this new lens on life, like, okay, I'm excited, I can see where it's happening now. It's new. Spring is more officially starting now. So ultimately, the market is getting ready to be new again. That's the best way I can put it. It's like, okay, we've had the eclipse, we were brought up, and we'll check the charts soon, but we were brought up quite high. So now, in order for continuation, there may be that bit of retracement for continuation. And this is quite potent. I'm going to mention it in this video, and I will mention it on the 21st as well. However, this came up in one of my videos from last year, this pink moon in April, being Libra. Libra is about balance, okay? It's about creating that balance that's necessary. So it's going to be interesting how the market moves this cycle, tapping into this full moon Libra energy at the end of this cycle, to bring about that balance, potentially for continuation. All right. But that's basically what I'm seeing for this astrological story. We're ready to truly enter into this newness. Confirmation burp when it comes to the crypto market. And in order for that, especially for Bitcoin, majority of altcoins, don't know about XRP, that's doing its thing, but the majority definitely needed that retracement to create a healthy market structure for continuation. But ultimately, that is what I am seeing with this cycle. So do make sure this is the first month, people. This is the first month. So grab the calendar now. You will be using this calendar from April going into March 2025. And of course, a new calendar will be available then. But do grab it. This is the first month. Get yourself the digital copy. Get yourself the digital copy on my Etsy store. Leave a note, because you can leave a note. Put your address in there, or email me, and then you will have the physical copy for absolutely free once you send the postage and packaging. But yeah, let's get into the technical analysis. So also, people, I forgot to say, if you do use there's also 10% off, so you're getting discounts here. Put the 10% code in to grab your digital calendar, and you'll get the physical one for free anyway, even if you use that code Lumin10, and I'll put it in the live chat and in the comments. So just make the most out of it. Grab your digital calendar with the discount and get your physical copy. Just pay for postage. All right, so super cool. And also, while I find Bitcoin, also there's a diary. So if anyone would like a diary, it will be available very, very soon. So let's get into the technical analysis anyway. It seems as if my squiggle isn't completely wrong. I thought to myself, you know, let me just leave the squiggle, because just in case. But it's kind of semi doing it. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. Oh gosh. So could this squiggle happen? Could we get back into this parallel channel? I drew 2 boxes here in the last video. I was like, price could potentially come up to this zone, excuse me, or the higher one, but it seems as if price got topped out here when it comes to Bitcoin, and it seems as if we are retracing. And I'm just gonna say, especially because we are soon entering into this full moon energy, I don't feel this is the end of the retracement. Okay, that's what I'm seeing, especially because, as you can see, we are now underneath the 55 or the 50 moving average, estimated move, SMA, I don't know which one it is, SMA, EMA. We're underneath this white line, which is the 50. So this is signaling to me a bit of sign of weakness. And I'm also going to say, like, when it comes to all of the other ones, we'll just take a quick look. Like Ethereum, I don't cover Ethereum often, but we're just going to take a look at the other ones. It's like Ethereum has come down lower than Bitcoin. As you can see, Bitcoin is still kind of at the last point it went down, but Ethereum has gone lower, and it's reached the 0.5, which is interesting. But it's kind of like, with the space of how Ethereum is, this trading cluster is amazing for it to retrace back down to. So even if it comes back down to the 0.5, comes under it for a bit and then back on top, then that's still good for continuation. Obviously, XRP, which we will get into in more depth, has dropped like further again than Bitcoin. So that's just there chilling. But Bitcoin, though it has retraced, it's not done as much as the others. So when it comes to Bitcoin, sometimes once it's kind of, once they finish what it's doing, but it does roll over into the altcoins. It does roll over, so it's kind of like, if they've done more of their drop, but Bitcoin still has more, we'll see how it goes. Will Bitcoin, if it retraces lower, will it pull the altcoins even lower? or have they done majority of their drop, and will they just drop a small amount if Bitcoin goes further? So we'll just have to observe that as it goes. But Bitcoin only came back down to this last point, as you can see. Brightness hopefully it's high enough. It's only come down to this point, whereas XRP, Ethereum have dropped lower than their previous low. But then we've got this tiny trading cluster here, which isn't that strong. So I feel if Bitcoin is to definitely break past that 58k, if Bitcoin breaks past that 58k, it will easily come back down to, what's that, 50 to 53. But if it can't even hold that, here is the strongest bet, because we've had our trading cluster. It's also sitting on top of this parallel channel, and I feel that that would be a healthy place for Bitcoin to retrace back to. Even if, like, I've drew my squiggle down into here, that could probably not happen. We may just get a retracement back down to this parallel channel at some point, which I feel will be healthy. But even if we break into this parallel channel, I still feel it will be quite bullish still, would I say? Quite bullish still, even if we retrace back down to the bottom of this parallel channel and come back out. My only concern would be if we come out of this parallel channel on the other side, because even if we hit to the bottom, we would still be creating a higher low. So even if we come here, this was our last low, we'll still be creating a higher low, which will be, because the sun's going out and in, it's changing the lighting on my laptop, and I don't know how to set it so it just stays as it is. If any laptop users are amazing, do let me know. That's just a button to press, I have no idea. So it will still be healthy. I'll just say if Bitcoin starts to fall back into the 34k region, that would be amazing buying opportunity, but I wouldn't be scared. It would just be more concerning if we break below 33. Yeah, touching back into like the high 20s, I'll be like, what's going on? But even so, as long as we create a higher high than 25k, it's still showing upward momentum. And if the market makers really want to play with people's emotions, it may just be a wick down, and we may just bounce like a, what's it called, a triangle recovery, a V-shaped recovery. Even if we come into the parallel channel, V-shaped recovery out, hover on top, and then continuation. So that's a possibility if we do fall back into this channel. But if not, here is looking like a stronger zone to create support, and we are entering into this Libra energy to create that balance. And it's having that perspective and angle of knowing of that balance may come from a healthy support, because it will be balanced for a stronger continuation to the upside. So we're definitely in retracement energy. We got rejected off this new moon, no moon, the solar eclipse, of whatever they do in the sky. So of course we're getting ready to enter into our new bottom. So we've had our last one here. I generally feel this moon will be lower. I generally feel it will be lower, unless price is just going to hover here for the entire cycle and we get it here. But I do feel it will be lower. When we check the DXY, we can see how that could be correlating. Yeah, we'll see how it could be correlating. But let's take a look at the RSI. So with the RSI, I'm seeing there's definitely room for a slight recovery. Even if we recover and we get rejected off of this level where we hit down from, because as you can see, price is slightly wicking up just on the daily. We were super overheated, and I was saying for time, bearish divergence, it was happening. The RSI was super high, and it was getting lower and lower. However, price was getting higher and higher, and we have our Batman head here, right here. It looks beautiful. So I was saying for a very long time that there was a bearish divergence, and it's happening now. The retracement is happening, and I feel, yeah, I didn't say a lot of heat, but I did have some people just like, no, that's not happening. But it's clearly just happening now. I guess we don't know the time or hour, but the signals are clear. Bearish divergence. So I am seeing, when it comes to the RSI, there's a little bit of movement, a little bit of relief after this drop that we've had. Yeah, after this drop that we've had, and we could get rejected off this level or off the 50 if we go a bit higher for maybe continuation down. It may not get that high, but we do have a bit more room on the RSI for the downside. So I'm basically waiting until we're closer to the bottom, or even potentially oversold, because that will be a biggest indication for buy now, motherfucker. Basically. So, oh, little confirmation burp. So yeah, so just an example, price was overbrought here, but price was just at this level, 35k, but the RSI is lower than this point. However, price reached 71k, 72 to 73k, so it was just screaming bearish divergence, and now it's playing out for sure. It really is. So we're underneath the 50, as I said. Let's take a look at the, what's this, the MACD. Is it MACD? So as you can see, we are more in the red. We're not changing to the lighter red. It seems like there's more room for it to go down, even if the moving averages, the blue and the red, come down below before it starts to cool off. So I'm seeing more potential lows. That's what I'm seeing. Let me just bring this RSI down. Where is it? How's everyone doing? You okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? So I just want to take a look at this moving average. So I'm just going to hide this one. We're going to put up this one. Okay. So again, price is underneath all of them, so it's just confirmation of more downward movement. We may find that little support on the 200, which will be good. It will be good. Could it find support there and there only before, or could it drop below it slightly and then find support on this 200 moving average? When it comes to the luminaries, they're still in the position for upward momentum, but there's still the possibility of price coming down to find support on the moving averages. That's still a possibility because we are overextended still right now. So yeah, I'm kind of seeing buying opportunities are coming in again very, very soon. Very, very soon. So I'm just going to hide the moons for a moment. Just reset the chart so I can see what go on. Let's take a look at the candles. So yeah, just on the W time frame, it is definitely showing quite, went down quite a bit. How much percent? Let's just check the percentage from where it peaked to where it went down to 15%. Okay, its totality done moved 15%, but from where it opened to where it's possibly closing, that's 6 to 7%, closer to 7. So interesting. Like I said, it's just on a bigger scale. This, if price wants to come back down into this parallel channel, it's still showing amazing structure. Like, I wouldn't be worried. It's just a perfect buying opportunity. But there's definitely more chance, or say more chance, there's definitely a chance as well of it just staying on the outside. I feel both would show healthy continuation, but we just don't really want to get out of this parallel channel. So 35k, I'm seeing the lowest. Then 45k, maybe the first one, especially if we break past that 53 to 51k. If we can't hold that, then 45. If we can't hold 45, 35 is the lowest for healthy continuation. We don't want to get past 25. We don't. It may just be creating another structure, but we don't, because that may just wipe the entire market. So we'll see how low it goes. On the higher time frame, there's still a chance of getting support off of these. There's still a chance, but price wants to find a secure local bottom as we enter into this full moon energy. And I would like to bring you awareness to what I've mentioned, because this is in April and we are in Mercury retrograde. Look, Mercury stations retrograde and it stations direct after this. Now this was a big thing I says to pay attention to in these two videos. So leave the world behind. So it's on my YouTube. This is the one I put on TikTok, but this is my full video, and of course you can check it out on my TikTok as well. All of them will be linked below. 70k views on here, but check it. Is Leave the World Behind, and the dates that was spoken about. So possibly will it surge at that time, because it was the full moons during Mercury retrograde. They're the ones to pay attention to, and we had one last year, at the end of last year, just after the movie was released. But this is our first one in the year of the dragon, because that's when it was mentioned to pay attention to. So we're in the year of the dragon now, so check that out on my TikTok or YouTube, or watch this long video about it. Do check it out. So I'm paying attention to that as well. I says, when it will surge, will it bring balance? Because when it comes to the full moon energies, price likes to just find its bottom, and then once it's found that clearly, you can then long it. So will we get a bigger surge? Will we get something noticeable on this full moon? Will it bring us deep down and create a V-shaped recovery? We'll see. I made a claim, so it's just seeing what will happen. But that's kind of what I'm seeing for Bitcoin anyway. Should we throw on a fib? I'm going to throw on a fib. I'm going to do from this last swing low to swing high. Look at this, just doing it on like a swing low to swing high. The golden pocket falls into this parallel channel, so that's quite interesting. And then this like buy-in zone, if there's a wick lower possibly, but the golden pocket falls into this parallel channel. So I'm not gonna like ignore this parallel channel, I'm gonna keep my eye on it. But let's draw it the opposite way. Does it work this way? If you, we'll see. Just doing it this way. So we basically just bounced on top of the golden pocket, wicked into it, and then bounced off it. So it's going to be interesting. Will we just retrace down to and hover around the 0.5, bringing us to just tease the top of this parallel channel? Or will we dip back into the golden pocket on the reverse fib on the more macro time frame? So we'll see how it goes, but that's kind of what I'm seeing for Bitcoin. We'll just take a look on the 4 hour quickly. So on the 4 hour, it seems as if we're just getting weaker and weaker, so retracement is more inevitable. On the MACD, on the 4 hour, we've kind of like just begun our lows. We've just begun it. There's probably a little bit more to go as the moving average begin to curve. We just may get some more downward momentum. With the RSI, where are we? Oh, what's going on? Is it too small? Oh, come on. Okay, so the RSI on the 4 hour, we are oversold, but we are pointing down to go a bit further. So it's like, is there more room for it to test more lows? So that's interesting. But just looking at this structure, it's showing weakness. We got rejected off of this moon because the moon was just above this box, and we're creating lower highs, and it's just showing weakness. We're underneath these moving averages. We may find and gain a little support here. No, sweetheart, what did I say? After lunch you can have one, not right now. No, he's not. No, he's not, because he would ask me before. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing for Bitcoin anyway. I am seeing a retracement. We've broke lower and we're retesting, and we may get rejected. Even if we go up a little bit more, we may get that rejection and then come back down to at least test this level. And if we can't hold that, we're going lower. We are going lower. But let's take a look at XRP. So XRP did break out to the downside. So you know, I was just like, XRP breakout soon. Broke out to the downside. XRP's doing what XRP does best, go down. So but what I do find interesting is that it has just gone back down to the bottom of this parallel channel. So that's super interesting to me. It wicked below it and was brought right back up. Confirmation burp. But just look, this parallel channel is been there for time. I'll just move this out of the way. This isn't the chart since sweetheart, leave that please. This isn't the chart since its inception, but the chart with its inception, it was trading within this parallel channel, so it's quite an important parallel channel. Personally, back in, we're trading above it, so we were in it in its inception. Then we traded above it back in 2017. We then traded above it as support from 2018 to 2019. During 2020, it was basically our support. This parallel channel became our resistance in 2021, broke back into it in 2022, and of course now we are back into it. We wicked below, but we are back into it. So let's take a quick look at the MACD. Oh gosh, so the MACD is showing a little bit of red, but look, it's getting like smaller and smaller on each side. So this is kind of telling me on the macro, like the W time frame, we could be hovering at the bottom of that parallel channel for a little bit, but it does look like it's getting smaller and smaller. Look, the red we've got the red here, but this red was smaller. On the flip side, we've got the green, and then this green is a little bit smaller. So even on this, it seems as if it's coiling up, which is interesting to observe. The RSI, oh, don't do this to me again, please. So the RSI, we had that mini head and shoulders, we kind of completed that. Now we're coming down, so let's just delete this. Let's just delete these. We've come down quite a bit on the RSI, but it was literally just like a downward slope of what it's doing. So it's like, will it come down, and would it, on the RSI, would it be showing this even more coming down? We'll see. We will see, but we have come down quite a bit, so a little bit of relief is kind of anticipated with the RSI, to be honest. And again, I says it would be amazing to get above at least this red line before we tackle the big trend line. noises, or just be quiet. But we've found weakness at this red line. So this was where the line chart was, I think, on the daily. But we found this clear resistance off this clear bit of weakness, which literally pushed us down to the bottom of the parallel channel. But again, the fact that it's in the parallel channel is moving super slow, super sluggish, super suppressed, but the maintenance of this parallel channel is still quite positive, and still potential for continuation. So that's what I'm seeing with XRP. We now, though, on the daily, we are below the luminary moving averages, which isn't the most healthiest sign. No, we're above Uranus, which I guess is good. We are above Uranus right now, but we did wick below it. Also, this is a strong zone. This is a very strong zone that it kind of went to. I don't want to draw on any extra lines, you can't even see. But let me just put on one line. Let me put on one. There's a horizontal line, and I'll make it thicker. But this zone seems quite strong. So I'm going to put it there. Let's just change the thickness to 4. And I'm just going to change it to white so we can see. But this is quite a strong zone. It retraced back down to, because we've got a lot of trading happening. It was its support at one point. Its resistance, sorry, tried to get above it, but it was rejected. Was its resistance, came above it. It was literally just trading on it, but at this point it became its support, and then now it's support. So it's still support right now, this 47 to 48 cents for XRP. So as well as that and the parallel channel, I'd just like it to stay within the parallel channel, really. Really. But I will say, if Bitcoin does what it does and pushes the rest of them down, even if we come out of the parallel channel, this 40-cent zone is still a sign for continuation, because what we don't want is really for it to get lower than this 31-cent zone. In terms of, if there's a wick, it's a wick, but in terms of actually price closing there on a daily, and especially on any higher time frame than a daily, then it's showing a sign of weakness, basically. But if it can hold that, if it can stay in the parallel channel, then that will be good. If it can't, we want it to hold this level and definitely above that 30 cents level. If it can't hold 30 cents, then it's just a sign of weakness. It's probably going lower. It's probably going lower, and you just have to laugh. So, oops. Forgive me, the mic just fell. The mic just fell. There's going to be a bit of ruffling. Sorry. I'm trying to find something, but maybe I should just wait. Oh, I found it. So, yeah, that's what I'm seeing for XRP. Just clear weakness. The moment we kind of tried to retest this parallel channel, it just brought us back down to the bottom. And I generally thought, like, oh, could we just hover outside it? But no. So this is why also when it comes to Bitcoin, I won't be surprised if it's pushed back down into that parallel channel. That was like the last strongest one, but there is another one too. So we'll see. We will see. Of course, it's underneath all of the EMAs. It's underneath it, just like Bitcoin. So it's showing sign of weakness. Will it try to retrace? Could we get rejected and then just push back down? Could we literally fill out this wick where it wicked to? Because that's what XRP likes to do. Look, we've done this wick. We were brought back up, and then like a trading cluster, and then price came back down to it. Didn't fill it fully, but price really retested that. So could we do that on this level too? And it's done that several times. It usually goes close to where it's recently wicked to. So could we come back down, trade underneath the parallel channel, just slightly above where it fully wicked to? Could we trade beneath it? Could our full moon come in here in Libra and then be brought back up into the parallel channel? So it's literally just seen. Let's take a look on the smaller time frame. So on the 4 hour, we're clearly oversold. On the RSI, we are oversold, but it's looking like it wants to create a head and shoulder, a reverse head and shoulder possibly, as we are pointing down, clearly getting rejected off this moving average. So could we come down a bit further, but not as low as this point? That's a possibility. So when it comes to the RSI, price may come lower, but the RSI would be higher, so that would show us a bullish divergence. It's showing us prices getting ready to reverse if we come back down a bit lower, but create a higher high when it comes to the RSI. With the MACD, looks like we're beginning to slope, but there's still just more red to appear, because it won't just end there. It's like still quite a lot of volume, so we may just get a bit more red while it just finishes doing what it's doing. Wick down, wick down. Yeah, just on this 4 hour alone, it looks like it's trying to recover a bit. May try and get rejected off of this last wick. This last wick get rejected again and fully solidify its support. So I don't know, I'm kind of seeing there may be just a little bit of relief from this recent drop it had, but that tiny bit of relief may just bring it down a bit lower after basically a break and retest. It just may bring us down a bit lower to solidify its final support as we go into this full moon energy, which will bring us into May. Okay, so we've got from the end of this cycle into May, and we'll speak about it more definitely on Sunday. But as it starts the end of this cycle, it's just being in that awareness of price is getting ready to fully find its support, and it could happen anytime, because remember, once it's found its support, you can then long or buy when it's a full moon. So I'm not saying the whole of this up until May it will be finding its bottom. It could find it at the beginning, could find it on the full moon, and then it's getting ready to bounce off. So that's a possibility, but that's what I'm seeing. Even with XRP, there's a little bit more room to the downside. So perfect buying opportunities coming up. Perfect buying opportunities. And for those who brought like near the top, it's okay. Price will get back to that at some point, no matter what you've got. So that is what I'm seeing. Let's take a look at the DXY. Probably a shorter video this cycle, but definitely check out Leave the World Behind video. Check that out, the shorter version on TikTok or my YouTube page, or the longer one, because depending how the market reacts with this full moon, it's going to bring my awareness to the other full moons for the rest of this year. So yeah, grab the calendar, get your 10% off, get the physical and the digital copy. Like, the digital is cheaper than the physical copy, so you're getting the physical one for free, people. It's a spring deal. So wonderful. I left this green line here, and I'm glad I did, because for a long time I said price could still reach this target and I just left it there because we had this weird head and shoulder, and it struggled. It definitely did struggle. And it's kind of like we've created another one, to be honest. We've got a shoulder here, head, and then this is like our other shoulder. So it's like, let me put on a line. Is it creating another one. Could it be creating another one, and could that take us slightly higher? It's a possibility. I'm not going to rule it out, so we'll just leave that red line there. We'll leave it there. If this is like one shoulder and then this one is this shoulder, but just from this tiny one, that's where I got this green trend line from. And then that's there because I was like, we could double top, that's a possibility. So we may not get as high as like this higher line, but we'll see. I'm definitely keeping this green line here, and I did mention it in my last video. It seems as if we broke through and we're just retesting, and that's exactly what it did, and the market went down. So we have gone up quite a bit, so we may get a little bit of relief when it comes to the DXY. And this is why I'm seeing when it comes to the crypto, because they dropped back down quite a bit, a few percent, we may get that slight relief after the drop down. And of course, because the DXY has jumped up, we could get that little relief for it to come back down a bit. So do keep in mind that, yeah, just keep that in mind, especially because we have broke across this horizontal line. We had a trading cluster here, and this line was its support. Okay, it was its support over here. It broke below it, went back a bit above it, but then it fell below it. So we've got two support zones. It's clearly hitting this one. So we'll pull this out. We'll pull this across. So it's clearly hitting that, and we're in between this one. So if we're getting rejected off this level, could we come back down to this level where this was previously a support? So could the DXY have just a bit of relief from it, from going up? It retrace, come back down to this level. This is showing us in crypto that opposite relief where it's broke down, so it just needs to retest to find its resistance level for Bitcoin and XRP, Ethereum, etc., etc. And while this is finding its support, it can get ready to then retest and possibly break through this structure. And if it does that, if we hit this retest and go on up, then of course that would cause the market to more lows in the market to find its true support, especially as we're entering into this full moon energy. So that is what I'm seeing there with the DXY. Let's take a look at this. We are in the overbought regions. As I said, we could get a little retest down, could come back below and then up again. So that's a possibility. Should keep that in mind. But yeah, I just want to take a look on the W time frame. Okay, so still a bit more room. Even on the W, we could come back down a bit and then go up a bit higher. So do keep that in mind. On the MACD, seems as if we've got a bit more like buying pressure when it comes to the dollar in there. These are still sloping to the upside, so it seems as if there's still much more room. We are on the darker green, not a lighter green. So yeah, definitely more upward movements after a retracement. So just checking on the 4 hour to get a smaller look. As you can see, we are getting rejected here, but with the MACD2, still seems as if there's a bit more room to move. With the RSI on the 4 hour, we are overbought. So this just isn't looking that strong though. So how low will it kind of come back down? Will it just be a little bit for continuation? Would we find a bit of support on of our EMAs? That's a possibility, and then continue on up. But I'm not seeing lower than this point. It may really try and break through, and that would just be that retest needed in the crypto market for healthy continuation. But that's kind of what I'm seeing, like a bit of relief at the beginning of this cycle, but possibly, so it may be a bit slow this cycle, it may be a little bit slow, but as we enter to the end of the cycle, so this is more of like our relief season. Price is retracing, the DXY is going down a little, crypto's going slightly up just a little bit, and then as we enter fully into our full moon energy, price wants to solidify its bottom, so we could get a deeper correction down as the DXY makes a higher move up, possibly creating this double top. And as I says, if it creates this double top, then it will just come back down. It's just a massive M, a massive M. So not only would it fill this out, it has the potential to drop lower and break the M pattern, which could potentially be the bull run before it finds its support, when the bull run wants to just create this little relief. Because look, it's this big M. We could come back down to even here, and then it could drop lower, break out of the M pattern, and come back down to this last trading cluster. And if it does that from a higher point, that's our bull run, people. That is basically our bull run. So yeah, just a quick look at some of the others, because it's a shorter video. Oh, confirmation, but I don't even know what I'm confirming now. So Ethereum, again, we broke down, we could get that little relief up, like what I've been saying, get rejected off that and bring us lower. Could it just create a double bottom, or would it push us lower to this last trading cluster, touching onto the 382.382? Quite a lot of them. Let's check XPR. So again, it's fallen lower. It's fallen lower. Could that easily just come back down to this level where it was trading at and then continue? What else is there? Hadira. Let's just take a look. Again, that's just come down. Will that find proper support on this level? It's a bit higher than where it's wicked to. The thing I quite like about the altcoins is oftentimes the wick shows an indication of something, like the longest wick. So price may not go lower than that point, and that may be its new local bottom. Floki, same thing, is on top of the golden pocket, and that's interesting. That's very interesting. That was its last point. But either way, even if this breaks below the golden pocket, we're entering an amazing buying opportunity for Floki. If Bitcoin goes down, it most likely will bring it down back to that point quite nicely. But it's showing a bit of sign of strength for further continuation anyway, as it's just resting on the golden pocket. Even if it comes back into it, touches this green buying zone, trades back into it, and then continues on up. But yeah, I'm potentially seeing a V-shaped recovery possibly happening, especially if we get, say, shocking lows. I won't say shocking lows, but it's just like, oh, okay, it's moved down. It could be a V-shaped recovery type of vibe, but that is what I am seeing this cycle. So yes, sweetheart. Ooh, here you go. So that's what I'm seeing. Anyway, so do make sure you check out the videos of where I mentioned we've Leave the World Behind. It's signaled important dates when it comes to the crypto market within the year of the dragon. Check it out. Do follow along. Grab yourself a digital... Oops. Grab yourself a... Sweetheart. grab yourself a digital calendar and get the physical one for free. It's only available for 20 people. Okay, only available for 20 people. So do grab it. It's a spring deal. And so you can follow along. Follow along and we'll see how this goes all the way up till next year. Who's going to join me? But if you did like any part of this video, do give your girl a thumbs up. Help your girl out. Support me by just simply liking, sharing and commenting on the video. Support me further by grabbing this deal. And watch my videos. I do offer birth chart readings too if anyone wants that. But with that being said, this was Crypto Angles podcast number 55. The binary code, things are resetting. We're entering into this new energy, especially this new Aries energy of spring. The new cycle is fully here. So I will catch you in the next episode. And with that being said, Angel out. Bye.